The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning or good afternoon to everyone today. Thank you for joining us. We have the Web Connect here today, and I'm just making sure that my screen's up. There we go. And I want to thank them for joining us today. You know, they have a great session plan. We've been talking about it a few weeks ago, and they've been working on this for me. We've got three gentlemen here today. Of course, we have Andy and Doug, which you all know, and of course we have you. Sorry, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Jump in, guys. Ewell? Yes, from Web Connect. So I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. We have 117 people currently in the room, and the number is still growing. So if you have any questions for the gentleman today, make sure you're putting them in early so we can get to them. I've just got a couple of housekeeping slides that I want to show as we get started. And of course, I like to thank everyone right off the top. It sounds like we're having some audio issues. Okay, I hope we can get that fixed. I'll work on that in just one moment. I'd like to thank the board of directors. We have Sam, Brian, Mike, Ted, and Eric. Thank you to our board of directors for always volunteering behind the scenes and taking part in planning Connect and Insights. It's just absolutely fantastic. So I want to thank our board of directors, and I am working on fixing the audio, so just bear with me, please. And of course, if you're looking to reach out to me at any time, either about webinars or about your membership, or any questions you have about the user group as a whole, my contact information is there up on the screen. You're welcome to contact me by email or by telephone. And just while I pass the screen over to Web Connect, what I'm going to do is just remind everyone about how to ask questions today. Most of you are putting your comments right in the comment box for me, so that's great. You're also welcome to email your questions as well. So I'm going to pass this over to Web Connect, let them jump in, and I'm going to work on solving some of our audio issues. Just one moment. Thank you, guys.
Okay, well, thank you, Cheryl, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Before we begin, though, a little bit of background on us. We've been doing P21 focused development since around, and Web Connect has evolved out of those efforts. Web Connect is designed from the ground up for P21, and it runs on any device with a browser, so that's smartphones, tablets, PCs, Macs, or laptops. Web Connect installs in your environment, provides real-time reads and writes to your P21 database, and it includes features in the areas of CRM, business intelligence, customer portals, and that includes the ability for your customers to create orders. It also has a number of remote ordering features for VMI, barcode scanning, ordering from contracts or sales history, quick order templates, offline ordering, requisition orders, and orders from file imports. So the free version of Web Connect is called Community, and we launched it as a part of the P21 Worldwide User Group Connect Conference in New Orleans this past August. It was an awesome event, and we had a lot of attendees that visited our booth that were telling us that the community version would be good for them to just at least test the concept of a mobile P21 strategy. Community is ideal for P21 shops in particular that haven't decided on a mobile P21 strategy, but they have a definite need to get some useful data in the hands of their employees on a real-time basis. It allows companies to easily and immediately meet those business needs of users trying to gain access to P21 from anywhere. And it also provides real feedback from users so companies, P21 shops, can better understand how a mobile P21 approach might work for them. Community does install in your environment and provides real-time read-only access to your P21 data. Both Web Connect and Community run on a Microsoft Windows server. So for outside access, users typically pass through a firewall or VPN or some sort of security method. For internal users, of course, they're just running across your network, and To use Community, a user simply opens the browser on whatever device they're using at a given time. So let's get to the demo now. The demo will cover Community usage and installation. And before I pass it to Ewell, I wanted to mention that if you have any usage or installation questions at any time, please don't hesitate to email us at community@p21connect.com. For more information or to register for Community, you can visit p21connect.com/community. And there you'll find a number of blog posts describing Community, including some installation information. And you can also find information on our YouTube channel. To find us there, simply search in YouTube for the keywords P21 Connect. So with that, I'd now like to hand it off to Ewell for the demo. Ewell, it's all yours.
Thanks, Doug, for that great introduction. My name is Ewell Gatown. I am the lead developer on Community. So I'm going to jump into showing you the setup process for Community. The IIS installation and configuration, you can follow that process on the YouTube channel. We have a video where we detail each step in that. I'm going to primarily talk about the database settings, the user management, and the different features that is within Community. So like Doug said, Web Connect Community can be accessed through any web browser on your phone, desktop, and can be navigated. Within the IIS settings, you can also configure specific URLs that you want to be able to access. So when you get your Community installation, you will be provided a default username and password that will allow you to log into the system. This will take you to the initial database settings page. This is where you configure, or you have your IT administrator configure all of the SQL Server connection information. This will give the Community software the ability to read live from the P21 database. It does not have any write capability, so it can be provided only read-only access and will be able to work. So you enter your SQL Server information that you want to use for that. You might point it at your Play database if that is what you want it to work with, or your live database if you want the information to flow live. Once we have the entered, you'll be prompted once your connection string works. There you will also be provided within the initial email setup the license key that is assigned to you for your account. This will allow us to see who the user is logged in. The additional setup process is you have to select the company ID that you want this instance to work on. So it will pull from the database and you select the company ID that you want this Community version to run off of. This is important as it's going through the pricing, the customer information, the inventory, all of that. It brings back the relevant information for the company ID that you selected. So for this one, I'm going to select SIS, which is the process that we want to look at. Once you hit Save Setup, it will be successfully configured, and you will get a bunch of different options for the different things we might want to play with. For now, let's jump into the user management because that's generally the second step in the process for most instances. The user management screen gives us the ability to hide, delete, or delete and create users. This default admin user that is initially set up is not able to edit, delete, but you can change passwords. Obviously, you want to change your default password from what it is initially set up as. So let's go ahead and add a new user and look through what that page looks like. The Add New User is a fairly simple page. Again, you can assign a username, a password. We have two different types of roles within the Community software. We have an admin role and a sales rep role. The admin role and sales rep, what differentiates those two, a sales rep is not able to get to the database settings or the user settings. So if they were to see this drop-down menu in here in the corner, they would not get these options. They would only just be able to browse through all of the different features. So let's say we want to give John a login. We want John's password to be John Pat, and we want to assign him as a sales rep. The other functionality we have in here is we pull from the P21 database to pull the sales rep IDs that exist within the P21 database. And so we can assign John's account to, let's say John is a sales manager, and so we want him to be over David, Charles, and Kurt. What this does is throughout the software, wherever we are looking for customer-specific information, we will only pull back the customer-specific information that's relative to the sales rep IDs that we've selected. This is important if you have distinct areas that you only want them to be able to look customer information up on, and if you want them to be able to be filtered. If we were specifically setting up just one user, we can say we only want Charles to be it, or we can select none and let the system run wide open. The last option on the Save User screen is the ability to disable pricing when we are looking up item information. This turns off pricing, which makes the tab that gets pricing information hidden. This might be important if you're still testing it and you don't want your sales reps to see pricing yet. So we have John Pass. We've said these are the sales rep ID. We had Save User. And now we have the different users all over here. And so this is just a simple user management screen to be able to quickly add and delete users and be able to assign sales reps and admin user roles as we need. So from here, we're going to jump into the features that exist within the community version of Web Connect. So I'm going to jump to our home page, and our home page has a few different options. So the process I'm going to follow is jump through inventory search, then jump through customers and contacts, and jump into ship to search. You also have the ability to navigate to each of those functionalities from the top navigation bar, similar to that you have on the main page. Also, one of the cool abilities of our community is that it's all mobile capable. And so I'm going to switch to our emulator so that I can show what this would look like on a mobile phone. And this gives you just the ability to see it for demo purposes online. If you were to navigate to this, all of the pages that we're seeing here will refactor so that they work on a mobile phone. So you can see that you have all of your options up here and your settings just like you would have. And works, you would pull up Safari or whatever browser that you have on your phone to pull up the different pages. So as we go throughout, I'll be switching in between. And you can also see what it would look like on an iPad or from landscape mode or each one of these. So everything that you see within the desktop version is also accessible in the mobile version. So it's a nice kind of multi-platform software to be able to run through. So now I'm going to jump into the inventory search. The inventory search, you come in and you have the ability to search a couple different things. It will search the short and long-term descriptions of the item, and we can also filter out stockable and non-stockable items. And so it queries the inventory master tables and brings back what we need. We also have the wildcard search properties that we use within P21. So I have a couple of items that I like to search through: App Mini, Fuse, App Mini. So this is the demo database that P21 gives vendors. So some of the data is a bit, made up. So week tinting is an item that I consistently use. So when I search week tinting, what it brings back for me is the different items that exist in the P21 database. Reading live, it brings back, okay, it looks like I have 4 items that have week tinting either in the description or the item name field. It looks like I have quantity on hand of 5 for this 4-ounce, the 4-ounce white, oxide, red oxide, etc. So this gives me a quick information about the items that I am trying to look for. Let's say I'm on a call with a customer and they're specifically asking about weak tinting yellow oxide 4-ounce. I know I have a couple different things I can do with that. So I can click into this item. And what that will bring me is to an item detail page. This will give me all of my locations that I have inventory. It will say, okay, location 1, demo distribution. I see I have 6 available. I have, again, the description, the sales unit size. And I have also a couple different tabs. I have a pricing tab and a subs tab. So if you have substitutes set up in P21, when I click on this tab, what it will bring back is the substitutes that exist. And so let's say, I'm looking at my inventory tab and I don't have any inventory, but the customer, I still want to get that sale. I can click on the subs tab and it will bring me back the items that I have set up as substitutes and look at what I have available for there. So then I can click into this item and say, give them pricing for that. So it gives me the ability to be able to turn on a dime and give the customer exactly what they need. So the next tab we might want to jump into, say we have inventory, is we want to check out the pricing. So when we jump into the pricing tab, we have a couple different options. We have to select the ship to. We have the unit of measure. We have contracts if we have them, in the quantity. So let's say I'm looking for 123 warehousing. It looks like that's the customer, the ship to ID that I'm looking for. And so 123 warehousing, let's say we're going to the main location. So when I select that, that gives me the pricing that I have set up within P21. So this pricing logic follows the exact same logic that you have within P21. It will go through, try to find the last margin, contract pricing, and then use the pricing engine. It will also try to find what contracts exist within P21 for this item, for this ship to customer. So I see, oh wow, I have a contract assigned to this item. So if I select that, oh, it looks like my extended price has changed to $42.34. I can change the unit of measure. So let's say the customer is asking for a case, okay, and they're asking for a case of 12. And as you can see, we'll automatically update the pricing to let me know exactly what we're looking for. So I'm going to jump this into the mobile too, so that we can see what that would look like from the mobile view perspective, so that you guys can see how it plays on there. So we see, again, refractors the screen so that we can see exactly what we're looking for, and then subs does the exact same thing. On the pricing, we can follow the exact same logic, find the ship to location that we're wanting to, brings us down to the pricing. We can switch cases, all of that stuff, so that we can see exactly what we're looking for, and we can play with it. So this gives us just a nice, useful feature when we're on a sales call or we're on a phone call to be able to give pricing quickly and effectively for the different customers, and follow the exact same logic that we would have on our P21 desktop, but just mobile capable, and ability to play with. So from here, let's say, wow, okay, I'm talking to customer X, Y, and Z, and I want to get a little bit more information about the customer. So we can click the home button and jump to our customer button. So when we jump into our customer page, we will get an initial listing of all the customers that exist within our P21 database. Again, similarly to the inventory page, we can search for a specific customer. So if you remember earlier, we were searching for our 123 warehousing. So we can search 123 warehousing or BA or X distributor or whatever it might be. So what we have in here is customer name. It will let us know if it's a prospect or not, the city that they're located, and the ID. We have several different buttons in here. We have the contacts button. So if we were to click on the contacts button, what this gives us is a page of the different contacts that are associated with this customer. And then we can jump into a contact specifically. So let's say I'm trying to go to 123 warehousing. I know I need to talk to Kathy. Jump into the contacts page for that customer and jump into Kathy, and I have all the information for Kathy. And so each of these buttons are mobile linked. So if I were to click on the phone number button, this will open the phone box on my cell phone. If I click the email button, this will create a mail to So it will open the mailbox so that we can write messages to her, or the website or map address. All of those things open up into, so if I need a specific address, we can jump to that specific address. So all mobile capable, gives you the ability to navigate quickly and get the information that you need to make the sale. Our next button is, if I needed to go to 123 warehousing specifically, this is a map button. If you're on a cell phone, it would open the map application on your phone. We jump into it and we get, okay, the Google Maps that takes us direct there. Our globe button is the ship to that are associated with this specific customer. If we open it, what we will get is a ship to listing, so we can see, again, if we remember on our pricing, we saw all of the ship tos that were associated with 123 warehousing. So we have location 1, plant 8, etc. And we can also map all of these if we want to. We'll get to that a little bit later when we jump to the ship to search. But all mobile capable, and we can view this listing through that. Our last button is the telephone button. Again, it would open the mobile app phone button on our cell phone and gives us the ability to call this specific customer. All of this reading live from P21 and all mobile capable. So now that I'm looking at 123 warehousing, let's say I want to dive in. So we can click this button and jump into 123 warehousing. This gives us an expanded view of the customer detail that we were seeing earlier. So we have, again, mobile mapping ability, phones, contacts, ship tos, and notes. So we've seen the contacts and ship tos. Let's jump to the notes. The notes will give us all the notes that are associated with this customer. So again, a bunch of demo data for us, but you would have all read live so that you need to know what the relevant information is and when this was entered. So we see Braun PO numbers, which is a contract we have associated with it. This was a note created by Paul, and then this is the information that Paul has inserted to this customer. So useful information that we might need to read right as we're walking into customer 123's office. And we have the ship tos and contacts, again, if we want to drill down into that. The tab that we also have on this page is the stats tab. The stats tab gives us relevant information about this customer, their standings, and general information. So we see, okay, credit status is good, where their credit limit is at and how much of it they've used. So great customer. It looks like spending money with us, which is great. We also have what their previous and current year's orders look like. So pulling this again live from the P21 database. We do some logic based on where we're at in the year and where we're looking, where they were at previously last year, and see how much we are projected to be short. And so it looks like we're trailing a little bit comparatively to last year. And so we might need to know why that is, and we might dive into that kind of conversation with the customer. We also have open orders, so we know how many orders are open and how much value. So it looks like for 123 warehousing, we have roughly $500,000 in open order value, and we have 56 open orders. And we have this additional button with item summary. We'll jump back to that. One of the things I wanted to show you is our customer aging chart. So if we click on this side button on this stats tab, what that's going to open is a customer aging chart. What this tells us is the value of the dollars as they are spread across. So 0 to 30, 31 to 60, 61, and 90, and 91 plus. This tells us quickly how healthy this customer is. And we can see, a majority of our dollars are within that 0 to 60 bucket. Happy to see that. Might talk to them specifically about, okay, where are we at with these invoices? So a useful aging chart. If we were to see this again on mobile, it will give us a nice little chart that we can read, mobile friendly, to jump into and see where the dollars are at and what we might need to talk about. The other tab we have in here is our customer monthly totals. If we wanted to jump into that, what we will see is, again, nice little charts that tell us how they have done over the past 12 months. And so we can see where the dollars have been spent and where we're lagging behind. And so it looks like we had a couple of months where we're not doing so well. And there might be legitimate reasons for that, or there might be things that we need to talk to the customer about. Maybe they're missing on a certain item that we didn't get last year, or we're back ordered on something, whatever it might be. It gives the information to the sales rep that they need to have the conversation. So again, this chart, all mobile capable. So we would see it very cleanly and friendly on that too. So if we wanted to talk to the customer and get quick feedback on what is going on. So the last two buttons that are on this are our open orders and items summary pages. Our open orders drill down to what those are. Before we do that, I wanted to jump into the item summary, which is a useful page that will tell us about what our customer buys. So what we see here is a listing of the items over the past 12 months that this customer has specifically bought for us. So we see WOW CC1LB bought about $148,000, and we can see what we need to talk to them about. If we have something different or additional that we might need to provide them, or we need to talk to them, or they're lagging about, we have that information all on our phone, and we can start the conversation quickly. So the last button we have over here is our Open Orders tab. And so our Open Orders tab gives us a drill down to look at what these 56 orders look like. So when we open this Open Orders, what we get is a listing of all the different orders that are associated, open orders that are associated with this customer. So we have the ship to location, when the order was created, the PO number for this open order, the total amount, and then the open amount. So we can see quickly that, okay, we have a couple of big fish down here. We look at the different PO numbers that are associated with this. This gives us also the ability to drill down into that order and get the relevant information that we might need from that order. So let's say we want to look at this 91050 and see what the details behind it are. So we see the detailed information that we saw from earlier. Again, this is pulling live, all mobile capable. We saw that 91050 is the order total, open amount is 910. We saw the taker was Paul. Here's the PO number, all of the order header information that we might need to have a conversation. The packing basis is partial and the carrier is unassigned. We see that it's not completed, it's been approved, and it's not been canceled. Useful summary information, but let's say we want to look at the items that are associated with this order from a line item perspective. So when we come to the items, we see all of the different information that is associated with this order and what makes up that 910. So we see, okay, while they ordered 4,500 of this 82015R010, here's the pricing that we gave them. If I were to click on this, it would take me to that item information screen that we were looking at earlier. If we wanted to get additional pricing or look at what quantities are, and then we can see this is the second line item. So this is what makes up that total 910 that we have over here. We have this additional tab, Ship To. We can see what the Ship To location is for this order. We see it's the location 4 for 123 warehousing. Again, useful if we need to, all mobile capable. So I can click this map link and it will take me to the location, and I can figure out what that location is. We also have notes. Looks like there's no notes associated with this order, but if there were, we would have additional notes showing up on here. So again, all useful functionality to quickly look up an order for, I'm at customer 123 warehousing. They're asking about, order number, order number 10315 or PO number 28746, PO3. I can pull those up and give them the details on where it is. Oh, it's approved and it's just waiting to be completed, and this is where we're at with them. So this is useful functionality, again, for on-the-fly lookup, reading live from your P21 database. Okay, great. So the next couple of things I'm going to jump into, we've briefly touched on the contacts already from the customer page, but we also have just a generic contacts listing. So if you needed to be able to quickly find John and search John within all of the contacts, we can see, okay, here's that John Barrett or Extensive Enterprises, etc. So I can click into John Dickerson, who is the one I'm looking for, and get his relevant information and pull up his phone number or his email if I needed that. So just a nice little useful feature for looking up the contact information that you might need as you are moving through your sales cycle. The last feature I'm going to jump into is our Ship To search. This is for our community users that are already using Community. This is the new functionality that we'll be rolling up soon. It's our Ship To search. So this gives us the ability to search through our ship-throughs and map our ship-throughs. So we have a couple different options here. We have miles, radius, zip codes, customer search, sorting, and customer versus prospect. So what this gives us is the ability to search ship-throughs, ship-to locations wide open. So if I were to hit the search, I would get all the ship-tos that are within my P21 database. But what I can also do is search for a zip code and a radius for that zip code. So let's say I want to search for 64101, which is Kansas City zip code, and I want to see a 10-mile radius. And I want to sort by the last sales date. Sales date, how we're defining it is we're looking for invoices in the P21 database, and we're looking for the last invoice date for that ship to. And I only want to look at customers right now. So I'm going to 64101, and this is a 10-mile radius, and I hit my search button. So what this is going to give me back is the ship-tos that are within that mile radius for 64101. So it brings back, okay, I have my 123 warehousing, I have a couple of their docks, dock 2, but you know what, I think I want to extend out that mile radius, and I also want to look at prospects. So instead of selecting only customers, I want to do both. And you know what, I also want to sort it by the city. And so what that's going to give me back is, okay, Kansas City, looks like I have a couple different things, and I have a new one. Looks like I pulled in Liberty, which is a city that's right next to Kansas City. And then I have Wellington, Missouri, and oh, wow, here's a prospect that came in. And so it looks like these are the areas that I want to hit. So useful functionality, you know, I'm a sales rep, you know, I was supposed to visit XYZ company. They canceled on me, but I'm in the area, so I want to look what's in my vicinity that I might be able to look at. And let's, you know, instead of sorting by city, I want to sort by that sales date so I can see, okay, what, who hasn't had an invoice lately that I might need to call on. After I've done all that, we have similar things to what we had in the previous Ship2 listing. I can click on contacts or mapping or cell phone or phone to call them. But I can also click this mapping functionality. And so what the mapping functionality will do is it will take all of that information and put it on a map. It will also color code the different locations from red means it's a customer and green means it's a prospect. So it's somebody that, okay, I see that Wellington A.B. Jones Co. is a customer. They have no invoices because, again, they're a prospect. But it lets me know, okay, maybe I want to call on Wellington or call on A.B. Jones and see if there is something that we can provide them now. Each of these items are listed below. So we have their last sales date, we have their location and their name. And each one of these markers have all of that relevant information. The other thing I can do is from here, hit the map link, and it will, again, open up a Google Map location for us to be able to get directions to it. I can also view contacts from here. This one doesn't have any contacts set up, but if I had one that did, I can select it and jump into it. I can also zoom into the map and see, okay, wow, I have a couple things that are within a pretty close mile radius that I can jump into. So again, useful functionality when I'm out in the field and I need to make a quick area of who's around me, who can I visit, who can I contact. So functionality that we are rolling out that was user-driven. We had a couple of community users that said that would be great functionality. And the ability to search and all this, we will have, obviously we have a lot more options within our full featured software that gives you a lot more filtering capability. Other thing you can do is also search by customer name, similar to what we have in our customer search, or run it wide open. So that is our primary feature sets. So we have customers, contacts, inventory search, ship-tos, and setup process. Again, reads all live from your P21 database, all mobile capable, all free, which you can't beat, and useful functionality. And user-driven. So, we're going to listen to the community user base to let us know what next functionality that is needed or was wanted. And our full featured software has this and times 10, much more read and write capabilities throughout. So I guess I will pass it back to Cheryl to open up Q&A for us. So.
Hi, I'm just hoping that the audio is a bit better now. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry about that, gentlemen. So the first question is, do you write using P21 API?
No, not at this time. Since we're just reading data out of the P21 database, we're making direct calls, just reading the data.
Next question. We have quite a few to get through, so I apologize for the rapid fire. Next question. Is there AD integration for single sign-on?
No, currently there is not. All of this is integrated within the ASP.NET application. So might be functionality we think about in the future, but Active Directory is not currently integrated. So.
Another question for you. Can you have multiple companies?
You can. The easiest way to do it right now, with the current software that we have sitting here for each deployment, we are limiting it to one company in the install, but there's nothing to say you can't have multiple installs of the same community product and set each one up for a different company if you want to.
We've been asked about the functionality to do multiple companies or selection on the multiple companies, specifically when it comes to pricing or item search and all that. Features that we're considering and might be in future releases though.
Okay, another question. We had someone who joined a little bit late, so I apologize if you covered this, but if you wouldn't mind touching on it one more time. The question is community friendly for P21 hosted users as well?
That's a good question. I think it probably would be, as long as you could, let's say if you can run a spreadsheet locally and pull back data from your P21 database, then community would work almost exactly the same way. So it should work fine. We don't install, community doesn't install anything in your P21 database at all. And in fact, it doesn't install anything or create a new database, so it should work fine.
Okay, another great question. If our users log into P21 using Windows authentication rather than a SQL username and password, how is that handled?
All of the user management for the community version of Web Connect is completely authenticated outside of both Windows and SQL authentication. When you do set up community, you will have to provide some type of login so community can connect to the SQL Server database. At that point, you would need to have a SQL username and password for that.
Another question. Are the sales rep IDs from the customer record or the ship-to record?
From the ship-to record.
Okay, so the follow-up question actually was, so sales reps, can they see the customers by customer number or ship-to?
I'm not sure. Can you repeat that one, Cheryl?
Yeah, so there was two questions that are very similar. The first one was, are the sales rep IDs from the customer record or the ship-to record?
Yeah, that's ship-to.
Okay, and the second question that came in right after was, so sales reps can see customers by customer number or ship-to number?
They can see them by, they can look up ship-tos by, by the ship-to, and it pulls back the ship-to ID. And if they look up customers, it's by the customer number. So basically, if you're looking at your sales reps being assigned by ship-to, they're going to see all the customer IDs that are associated with the ship-tos for those records, the ship-to sales rep records.
Next one. Are there quantities by location?
Oh, yes. On the inventory detail screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you pull up an item detail, it'll break out all of the inventory by location for your quantity on hand.
So that's what we're seeing. Right
Yeah.
here.
So we only have one location in our little demo
database.
database, so you're only seeing one.
Yeah.
So in the searching, are you searching item ID, description, or extended description?
All three.
All three. So if the wallet card capability gives you the ability to search all of those at once, and so if it finds it in any of those, it will return it as an item. So.
Kind of tying back to the question we just had a moment ago, but just a little bit different. In the inventory section, is it possible to show quantity available on the search results page instead of just within the details section?
Yeah, it does. It rolls them up from all the locations. So yeah, if you'll pull back an item here, it's going to give you your net quantity or your gross quantity on hand that's rolled up from all of your locations.
Now, here's a question. I'm not sure if you can answer to it, but if you can, that's great. If we use strategic pricing, is there any reason Community would not go through that pricing logic?
Strategic pricing, it will going through price engine, so it should work just fine. I do want to verify that though, because there is one additional settings in the full version of Web Connect for strategic pricing specifically that I want to make sure we're following those rules in Community.
Yeah. But it is using the P21 pricing engine, so it should follow all of that logic.
Okay. So it says here pricing. I assume it does also customer pricing. Does it also pick up from the ship to what items should be billed to what vendor?
From the ship to what items should be billed to what vendor?
Not sure.
I'm not sure I follow.
So does that mean when I go to the ship to search, is it filtered based on the items that I'm doing? I'm not 100% sure what that question is asking. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe
I know
we'll,
that
it might be one we need to have a conversation. Yeah. So
yeah, have them give us a call. Make
yeah.
sure we follow along that. If he's asking if the pricing is based on the ship to specifically, yes, it's going to grab their based on the their preferred location ID for the ship to. That's some of the information that gets pushed into the price engine algorithms. So if that's what he means, yes.
right. How does the inventory section function with multiple locations?
It's going to pull back everything from all locations at this time. At some point, we may decide to go ahead and put a location filter into the inventory search functionality so you can limit to a specific location if that becomes something that someone wants to look at. So you're bringing back all the inventory. It's rolling up the total quantities on hand for each item. And then when you drill down to the detail, it breaks out the quantities for that item. When you're doing a pricing call for that specific item, and you select the ship to, when you select the ship to, it also grabs the parameters for the location of by the preferred location ID for the ship to for the pricing call.
Okay, another great question. Can you drill down into open orders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show
so
that. You'd go for the customer. Yeah.
If I went to customer and went to my stats tab and jumped into my open orders, I have all of the different orders that I have, and then I can jump into my orders and see the order total, all the high-level information, and then I can look at the line items that are associated with that and ship tos and notes that exist within that order. So.
Okay, is there a limit to the number of users you can have in the community?
Nope.
That was easy. Okay.
Technically, based on the hard drive space for the file that would hold the user, so maybe.
If you have maybe 10 billion users, that might be a problem, but I assume there's.
Is there any way to validate orders when they are placed on hold?
Validate? No, not through the system at this point.
On hold, yeah.
Yeah, we could. We probably do need to put that flag in there, though. We will.
So an on-hold flag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yep. We'll add that.
Okay, that was easy again. Can layout be changed via CSS or HTML or jQuery?
Not currently, because I think when we build it, so it's using MVC and all of that structure. But I think we could have a conversation if we need to extend it out.
Yeah, we could create an override file or something like that.
Yeah, we've thought about extending it out so that gives those of you who are developers the ability to extend it out as you need for look and feel things.
Logos,
additional things, but we don't have that currently functioning, and we'll see. Definitely reach out to us if we need to have a specific conversation about that, or if you're looking to do that.
I like the look and feel.
And just clarifying, so is it showing open quotes or only orders?
Just orders at this time.
Orders at this time, yep.
Can contacts and accounts be secured so that only certain sales reps can see the accounts and contacts that they are assigned?
The accounts, yes. Right now, if you're looking at the contact drill down, they're going to be wide open. Something we're looking at. The main reason for that is it keeps coming up where someone can't find a specific contact. They exist. So we figured, well, at least for the contact search, go ahead and leave them wide open. So it's kind of a catch-22 there, to where if you limit them, then someone needs to be able to see them all, and if you don't limit them, then people want to limit it back. I guess we could build a flag in there for limit contacts by ship to if we want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We're on the user setup, so we'll look into that.
And sorry, I know we kind of touched on this at the beginning of the question period. So will this work on the hosted P21 application?
We believe so. I don't know that we'd have to check and see if anyone else has installed it on a hosted, but I can't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, as long as the IIS process can get to the SQL Server, that's all it really needs to be able to do. And so those of you who are on that hosted, definitely reach out and see. We can see what it might look like and what installation might look like, if it's any different. But as long as the IIS process can get access to the SQL Server, then we should be okay.
So another question, how does licensing work in the full version? Does each user's login on the web require a P21 license?
No, it works pretty much the same way community. It's a little bit different structure. We have in the full version, there's actually a database that holds our user account information. And as you set those guys up, you can set them up, completely differently than you set up the P21 users, up to and including customer logins in the system, where your customers definitely won't have a P21 login, or I hope they don't. So basically what happens is the Web Connect, the full version, as well as Community connects to SQL Server with one SQL login, and it doesn't use any licensing at all.
Okay, another really good question. Will this be usable in Canada? So can we look up using ship-tos? Will it use area codes, kilometers versus miles and zip codes?
We have Canadian zip codes in our zip search, but we don't have the kilometers set up, so the unit conversion.
Oh,
the unit conversion for kilometers versus miles. But you know,
we can look at that. It's also not in French. If they're going to be French. Canadian.
Yeah. I swear I didn't ask that question. Does Epicor have to get involved to open up a port on the router?
On a hosted environment, that might be the case. Yeah, we might have to look at that. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, we'll just need to take a look at that to see. I wouldn't think so, but maybe.
Does the full feature version utilize P21 API to adhere to P21 business logic?
We don't use the APIs in the full version of the software either. The WebConnect product has been around since before the APIs have, and we didn't want to make it a requirement that our existing users subscribe to the APIs. And we do a bunch of interesting things with the way we extend the way the system works. So currently, no, right now we do not use the APIs.
What data does it store on the IIS server? Is it just settings?
Yeah, I don't know what specifically that it's looking for. So it does have an encrypted file that contains any of the connection string information and the user information. And so primarily that's only relevant information. So basically the database setting and user setting pages that we looked at are stored there in the IIS folders.
Yeah, we're not bringing any data back and storing it local on the IIS server.
Does this function with service orders?
No, not at this time. It's just going to be sales orders.
Can you take orders pulling from customer contracts?
Can we take orders? It's going to show orders from customer contracts in the community version. In the full version of WebConnect, you can definitely place an order that's based off of a customer contract. There are several ways to do that, and we'd be happy to show anyone if they want to call us up and show that portion. The full version allows you to actually place orders as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there an option for a daily schedule or a call schedule?
Not at this time. I like the idea. Is that something that we could...
In community?
Yeah, I don't know if we can possibly be able to create some kind of an algorithm that would generate a...
Yeah, not currently. One of the things I think we're going to consistently do is reach out to our community user base and survey and talk about what is the next thing that they're looking for within community. And basically whatever gets the most votes is what we implement next, so that we have kind of a consistent drumbeat of nice features to have. Obviously, we want you to look at our full version, which has a considerable breadth of functionality and features, but we want to also provide a useful way to get insights into what WebConnect looks like as an organization and what our development mantra is. And so love the ideas and love the feedback. I think we've counted like 15 from even the questions, and so love to consistently hear from you guys and provide us any additional things that we would love to have this. And once we hit critical mass on an item, we're definitely looking to develop and implement that.
So here's a great question that ties into that. So the question is, so looking at what you're showing today, is this all included in the free version, or was there anything here that was in the full version that we should know about? And do you have kind of a summary of what's in the free versus the full? And not that you have to give it to me today, but do you have that available?
Everything you saw was the free version. So there was nothing that you saw that wasn't included in community. And so we do have a listing of our features at p21connect.com if you need additional information. And we also do demos and trials so that you can see it, see a demo version of our full version software, and we also do install trials on your server so that you can play with your data in trial mode. And so we give you, on the full version so that you can play around with your data on our full featured set so that you can see what that looks like.
And there's no reason you can't run both community and the full version if you really want to.
Yeah.
So you get the community version, get it installed, and then give us a call when we get to the trial on the full version.
Yeah.
So going back to the Canadian question, we have a lot more companies, both members of the user group and using P21, that are in Australia. Have you started to load any of that information in? Obviously, we know about the conversion part, but in terms of the mailing codes.
We have not currently, but I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just looking at the zip codes and finding a good vendor for that and purchasing that. So
yeah, you will. You know, you and I are looking at each other because we're thinking architecture right now, trying to figure out.
Australia. I think we had a couple community registrants from Australia. Glad to have you guys. Love the Aussies. So yeah, definitely look into that zip code and postal codes information. So.
Okay, another question. Can we add customer tasks, budgets, quotes, RMAs? Can we see item quantity, sales, and comparison month to month?
So that's not functional that exists in community, but definitely portions of that exist within our full version, full software. So whoever asked that question, please reach out to us, and we'd love to show you a demo of our full version software, and we can show you some of those items.
So we only have a couple minutes left, and we still have probably about 20 questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few more questions, and then we'll wrap up. What I am going to do, and what we talked about before with having so many people attending today, is I'm going to send all of the questions to the Web Connect team so they can take a look at them. And then they're going to send me a summary of some responses, and we'll post that to the user group forum where you'll see this recording. So you'll still get all your questions answered. It just may take a little bit longer. So we'll jump into another question and see how far we can go before we wrap up today. How does pricing work for assemblies? Is it priced by component, i.e. roll-up component prices?
Pricing work for assemblies, yeah, it's it would give you the roll-up price when you're looking at the if you're pulling back an item in the item listing and go to the detail and get the price, it should give you the roll-up of all of the final assembly.
Is any of the app customizable to us, or would all changes need to go through you? For example, wanting to add another field in the contacts results lookup.
Sure, a little bit again. Can you repeat that question one more time for me?
Sure. Is any of the app customizational to us?
Daryl?
Can you hear me okay now? I may have.
I think that's about customization.
Still break a little about customization. Don't we have it able to be customized? I think it's the add-on to the views, and the pages are going to be our if you're so inclined, and I mean, free wherever possible. But how people are playing with it, and we want the kind of ecosystem that you develop feels them and get a feel for them too. So.
Okay, so we've pretty much run out of time, and it seems like we're having some audio issues again. So what we'll do is I will send the questions to the team. Can you hear me, gentlemen?
She said we're
Hey, gentlemen, can you hear me okay? Doug and Andy?
Yeah, see if you have it. Maybe you can.
Cheryl, this is Doug. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I think we lost you, Cheryl.
Yes, I think we're going to just go ahead and wrap up and questions later.
Thank you all for attending. Please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Features and ideas that you guys have. Would love to implement and build consensus on this. And just more feedback about how your feelings about this off. And if you have more full version, I would love for you guys to contact.
Hey, I'd also like to thank Cheryl and the users group. So thank you guys very much for today.
Yeah.
Your services are greatly appreciated, and you're great asset to the entire P21 community.